Welcome to EIPIP Meeting 52. I have shared agenda in chat. The first item listed here is Github Discussion for Discussion 2. I have added a link which I collected from the EIP GitHub issue. It is a proposal to initiate EIP discussion to thread at GitHub Discussions. As we can see, Micah already pointed out the potential problem with GitHub Discussions, that they are not distributed and cannot be reconstituted. However, I feel like in earlier meetings, we decided to move ahead with Ethereum Magician. One of the issues that was highlighted was the limited editing window. But I'm happy to share that this issue is now resolved. And I'm just trying to understand now, like, are we good with FEM continued as discussion to place, and we don't want to look into other options, or are there any other issues that needs to be taken care of before we start increasing awareness of FEM as a central place for discussion to link?
I don't believe there's anything else blocking us. That was the big blocker that I remember. I have already basically told everybody you have to go create an Ethereum Magicians thread for discussion links. Like anyone who creates an issue on our GitHub, if it's not related to the EIP process itself, I tell them to go to Ethereum Magicians and I close the issue.
Right. Yeah, please go ahead, Sam.
No, I was just going to say there's nothing stopping me from recommending Ethereum Magicians now that the edit window is fixed.
Right, I know we have changed some text on the GitHub bot to help people understand that if this is related to EIP discussion, please stop it or close it and create a thread. But we were trying to stop ourselves from strongly recommending it. But it seems like with this issue being solved, we can start doing that. Thank you for that. Maybe I can go ahead and add a comment at the end, and then we can close that issue. Number 2 is removing spam issues and comments. This is collected from the ETH R&D Discord. We all know that we have the EIP GitHub repository is being spammed a lot. People come and write something that has already been discussed in the past, that this is a concern, that we don't want to provide an opportunity to scammers to just create something and be a part of Ethereum repository. So we did talk to EF DevOps team, and it seems like with editors, EIP editors having admin issues, now they are in a position to close the spam issues. It's just that we might need to update the list of EIP editors, so all EIP editors may be able to handle this thing. Does this sound like a reasonable solution to the problem, or anything else can be done?
I don't think that's necessary. I think that I just didn't know where the delete button was. I've been using GitHub for forever, and I never even saw that button. Now that I know where it's at, I can delete issues, and so I don't think it's a problem anymore. I think having me and like clients are both admins. Generally, I am in the camp that, from a security standpoint, I'm in the camp of people that believes that you should limit who has access. And so if we are going to add people, I would recommend removing some people as well. I'm okay with that. If someone wants to remove me and add someone else, I'd be totally happy. But I don't think we should just add everybody. Like, I think it's an unnecessary distribution of very powerful permissions. Maybe we just keep the list short, basically.
I am very happy to not be an admin.
Damn it.
Right. So I think we can probably check with that. It seems that list is pretty old, and it has access to the like emeritus EIP editors as well. So we will try to get the list shorter with whoever have admin access as of now for that repository should be the owner of it. And yeah, that way we hope to spam issue get addressed. All right. Moving on, number 3 is discuss issue used to Git submodules. I think this is also collected from the EIP GitHub issue section. And also the user, the GitHub user Panda PIP1, he left a comment to the agenda item, suggesting that he's looking for some decision on this topic. I have added the link in the agenda. So it says that currently Travis CI validates all files, including Git submodules, which the EIP author has no control over fixing. The Git modules file will be edited every time someone added a Git submodule. The bot should not fail when this file is changed. I'm wondering what is general thought. I see some of the editors have already left a comment, but if there is any decision or discussion needed on this topic.
I'll just reiterate my position. I'm not a fan of Git submodules in the EIP repository. They add a lot of complexity and it introduces external links. And so it's functionally the same as just external linking, which means it can 404, it can go away. All the problems we have with external links we'd also have with Git submodules. On top of that, it adds a lot of complexity to the repo. Like when you clone, you have to do a bunch more steps in order to get submodules. Not a huge deal, I think, in our case, because most people probably wouldn't need submodules for day-to-day tasks, but we would have to make CI accept them and deal with them, etc. So I'm generally against submodules.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think they're slightly better than just arbitrary external links, but they definitely suffer from some of the same problems. Then I'm okay with like a soft stance against them for now, and then if it comes up down the road or comes back up as another like reoccurring issue, then we can discuss it again later.
All right. So I see Micah has already commented here on this issue. Maybe we can go ahead and add as a general consensus for this meeting that EIP editors are not generally in favor of this. So we can probably close this issue for now, but if then something else comes up, we need to bring it back. Maybe we can create another issue and start discussing it at that point.
I love EIP meetings where we barely meet quorum because it makes it so easy to come to decisions.
What is the quorum?
2.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Basically,
Right.
the quorum is more than just Micah being a dictator.
I'm probably not the best person to sit opposite you on that.
Oh, well, that's why I have been trying to kind of readjust that time so it suits rest of the EIP editors. Like we have 5 on board, I believe, right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes. And I was trying to reach all of the EIP editors individually so we can get a time, good time for everyone to be on the call. We'll discuss that. That is there on the agenda maybe later today. Let's finish up with whatever is here first. Number 4 is mention number of EIP drafts that were submitted but not merged in the EIP Insight. So this is again a comment by the same user. And he is requesting that in the report that we published EIP Insight, we should also add a pull request. Those are not merged. Generally, how I add details over there, that whatever pull request is merged is reflected in what category it is, what status it is. Sorry, I wasn't adding the EIP category and type, but it's a good suggestion that we probably add type, so we will be able to keep track of how many of what core, networking, and other EIPs are being added and being finalized. But I'm still in 2 minds. That's why I wanted to bring it here. Like, do we find a good reason to include data for the pull requests which are not merged?
As long as it's not too onerous to collect, I don't see it as a bad thing. I mean, it's kind of an indicator of how much work EIP editors are sort of doing. Well, yeah, it's like you can kind of compare the ratio of things that were merged versus not merged, and then be like, you guys are doing, a terrible job as EIP editors.
Or maybe we need more people. Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, I tend to agree that if this is an easy thing to get metrics on and someone has requested it, then I see no downside to providing it. It might give insight into how overwhelmed we are, or maybe it will give people data to say, wait, you guys aren't actually overwhelmed. You keep up with everything. Clearly, you can handle more work. I don't know, but I'm not opposed to it being added if it's easy. If it's really hard to get that data, then I'm more opposed to it just because I don't want to. I don't think that's like a super high priority item that we should, devote significant effort on.
Right. I don't think it should be a challenge. It's just that the reason for not including them was like not to clutter the report too much, because if we want to look into the pull requests, there are plenty of pull requests. Like a big number is there, and we wanted to filter out data. Probably I have to think of some better way of representing this metrics as well. But I agree to the point that it is a good reflection of how much work is there with EIP editing, and this might probably help us get more people if we see that the present EIP editors are overwhelmed with the job that is assigned here. All right, I will try to add the data for open pull request for new proposals and proposals which are added to be moved to the final status. And we'll try to add this data at the end of the month. Okay, moving on, number 5. Item number 5 is core EIPs in an executable spec world. I know this proposal was proposed by Tobacco and was also discussed in the all core dev meeting. Now that we already have the discussion to link for this proposal, I don't know this is a formal EIP or not. Discussion to link is also available at Fellowship of Ethereum Magician, and I have added the link to the agenda for people to refer to. I just wanted to add it to the EIP meeting because I know this is about process, and I'm wondering if there is any other thought that people would like to discuss.
I'm still holding out hope, though I'm pretty sure I'm losing the fight. I'm holding out hope that with the executable spec, we can just move core EIPs out of the EIP process and into some new process that is more fitting for what core devs need. But I'm pretty sure I'm going to lose that. So
Why do you say you're going to lose that?
Just the impression I got. Everybody seems to really want to not move core EIPs out of the EIP process, or
Into a
people
different EIP process.
Yeah, people really want to retain the process, and they seem to want to keep it as close to the current process as possible, which I also am not a fan of. I mean, I think there are some reasonable arguments for that, such as continuity and mental effort for the core devs, things like that. I personally think long term we would be better off if the core devs had a process of their own that wasn't also infected with ERCs and informational and everything else. And also that was, once we have an executable spec, a process that integrates with that better than the IP process would. Yeah, it's just the impression I'm getting currently is that there's a number of people who don't want to leave EIPs behind.
Well, I mean, hopefully we can convince people that there's a better process. Kind of hoping that that's what we'll do with Shanghai when we get there. But yeah.
It may help if you're not busy, Sam. It may help if you can write a proposal similar to the one Tim wrote, just like in a similar vein, but proposing some alternative solution to core change control.
Sure. So I was actually helping Tim quite a bit with his, but I guess there's still some parts that, yeah, I'll go through this and I'll write up like an alternative one. So, cool.
Yeah, I think the idea of having the spec and diff that we discussed in earlier meetings, it was nice to have. It would actually differentiate core EIP process with the rest of the EIP processes. Even if we continue the normal standardization process as the same, it's like what we want to keep it in the in the file.
Yeah, like I said, my preference would be we don't keep anything core EIP in the EIP process. Once the executable spec is out, we come up with a new process that is separate. And I feel like we can come up with something better given a green field, that rather than trying to kind of come up with something that looks kind of like EIPs and fits kind of into the EIP's repo, but maybe just has some rules changed. But I will admit that I have not thought enough to be able to actually document what that might look like. And so I'm hoping maybe Sam has something in his head that could be written down that achieves that.
So what were the problems you had with Tim's specification or proposal, I guess?
His proposal. So in the high-level proposal section, he says use core EIPs for both EL and CL changes. And my understanding is that he basically wants to keep EIPs as is, with the exception of the specification section change. And so we still have the motivation section, you still have the header, the metadata, etc. Still in the EIPs repo, it'd still go through the same editorial process, etc. I feel like we can do better, and I feel like this is a good opportunity to extract core EIPs out so they can not live next to ERCs and other things. And I feel like tighter integration with the executable spec change control process would be valuable, rather than like, okay, here's the EIP, and then we point at like a pull request or something. But then that pull request, might change over time, or it may be handed off, or someone moves a repository. Like that, it feels like there's a disconnect there. Whereas if it was more tightly coupled, I feel like we could do better.
Yeah, okay. I think that's the big difference I see between what I want and what Tim wrote, as well, is where I want the EIP like English text to be part of the execution specs repository. So I can write that up.
I mean, I think there might be value in retaining some things from the EIP process that we found were valuable and useful.
Or like the motivation section is like really important.
Yeah, so like keep something like the motivation section. The rationale did serve a purpose, and I think it was valuable. I think that's a good section to have. But like maybe we don't need to have the abstract. Like lots of people complain about having the abstract and a description and a title, and maybe we just don't need those three. We just use numbers and that's it. Like we don't need a title at all. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll see what I can do. I'm probably going to keep the template from the EIP repository mostly intact, just because I think there's some continuity there. But yeah, I'll see what we can cut.
That one bugs me because it's totally redundant.
Which one?
In the header, there's a field for the date that the EIP was created, which is information that is automatically tracked by like 3 different systems already. You don't need to manually type it in. It bugs me because it serves no useful purpose.
Well, and what does created actually mean? Is created the first time the text was written, or is it the date it was merged in? Like,
right, exactly. It's an ambiguous field that doesn't add value and is redundant with lots of other things. So if we're gonna, at least let's remove that if we move to another place and keep everything else. At least I'll feel good, like something changed.
But about that particular field, I feel like that is the only way to like give a high level information when someone is looking at eips.ethereum.org, right? That can provide a reference of like how long back this EIP was created. Obviously that field is ambiguous. I do agree, because the proposal is created like 4 or 5 months back and then it's merged. So I don't know if they would want to consider the date of merge as the date of creation of that proposal, because that is the first day when that is listed on eips.ethereum.org, or the day when it was actually documented.
I would like, if we wanted to keep things on ethereum.org, eips.ethereum.org, that I would like that field just be filled in automatically when the draft is merged. Like we just get the draft, the file creation date basically. And then maybe once it goes final, we change that to the final date. Because really an EIP is in draft is not an EIP. It's not a standard yet. It's not a standard until it gets final. And so the final date is the one that I think matters the most once you get there. But again, like my big contention with it is that we could automatically generate that and we don't. We have users type it in, and that bugs me.
I think it's a very good suggestion, like the date for the EIP, the final date when that proposal is actually merged, let's consider that as a date of EIP. Maybe this is something that might need some more discussion, some more feedback from other EIP editors, but I consider it as a good piece of information for people, and we can probably have some standardization over there. But if we have to consider that, I believe it would be a bot work, right? Someone has to add some fields over there.
I mean, there's going to be a lot of bot work to move the core EIPs over to this repository. So
yeah, in comparison to that, this is a small change.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
but that's a good point.
Yeah, so like I think there's going to be some advantages because like the bot code can actually live right inside the execution specs repository. We already have tooling in there that does linting, and so we can just extend that for the EIPs. But yeah, like it's going to be a lot of bot work.
Right. Let me bring it to the agenda in the next meeting, and let's see what other people think about it, because I'm also confused about this date. I'm talking personally from my experience, because when I add EIPs as like, draft and the final in EIP's inside document, that is based on the date when in the month which it was merged, but that definitely not matches with the date that is reflecting on the EIPs on EIP's website. So if we have this thing in sync, it will make more sense. That's a good point. Thank you, Micah. You gave us another point for discussion in the next meeting. All right. Okay. Moving on. I think we have a good discussion on the core EIP part. We hope to see something coming up from Sam Wilson, maybe in the upcoming meeting or the ACD meeting. I don't know, Sam, when you are ready with that, but it would be good to have a couple of proposals on the table to see what is the best suited and what people want.
Agreed.
Okay. Let's move on to item number 6, EIP bot issues and EIPV issues. I'm aware that some work is started by the ECH engineering team, though we are still in need of more people. In the last ECH meeting, we also shared the information that we are looking for more Ruby dev, though we haven't received any application from the community. So people, if you are listening, we are still looking for more people to look into the bot issues and EIPV issues. Plus, we are also looking for a Ruby dev. If you are interested to work on the EIP side or help out with the Ethereum GitHub, please reach out to us. You can find us on the ECH Cat Herders GitHub, ECH Cat Herders Discord channel. The next one is EIP's Insight. So the report is updated till date. So far in March, we have one EIP which has moved to the final status, that is EIP 4626 tokenized vault standard. And the repository has received 7 new proposals as draft, 5 core proposals and 2 ERC proposals. I have made this distinction for draft, and I will be making this distinction for the final EIPs as well. There are 13 EIPs which are moved to stagnant, and one EIP, that is EIP 3651 warm Coinbase, is resurrected from stagnant to review and is also being considered for inclusion for the Shanghai upgrade. We did mention in earlier meeting about the significant change to EIP 1, which is about limiting the links to external resources. However, there is an open pull request that is submitted to further edit language on the usage of external resources. I wonder if there is any resolution or any discussion that people would like to have in this meeting. I'm sharing the link here. What do people think, that should there be any changes or is it fine? Sorry, I could not catch it, Micah.
I was saying 1 second, I'm opening the link.
All right. Yeah, just have shared the link here.
Oh, this one. I think Sam's comment is, or no, Matt's comment, most recent one, I generally agree with. Yeah, I can go either way. Like, Sam, if you have a strong opinion, I'm probably willing to defer.
Oh, I don't think we should change the text. I think what's there is good.
So you prefer the short one-liner?
Yep.
Over the slightly longer two-liner?
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Yeah, I can get on board with that. I think Matt was also favorable to the shorter, terser version.
All right. Maybe if one of the EIP editors make comment, and then we will be in a position to close the issue. So, I mean, when the issue is addressed, we can probably close the issue.
Okay, I'll make a comment on it.
Okay. And I think that's all from the EIP's Insight. Number 8 is EIP Editor Apprenticeship Meeting. We did have this meeting yesterday, and we did try to catch up with some of the open pull requests. The recording is available now, and the next meeting is planned 2 weeks from yesterday. Second last item, number 9, is EIP meeting time and survey. So we had this survey to collect information from the EIP editors. So far, we have 5 EIP editors on board. And this survey was for the collection of time, which would work the best for most of the editors, so we can have most of the editors on the meeting. And if there is any preference in the name change for this meeting, it looks like 1400 and 1430 UTC is on a tie. People are mostly in favor of EIP meeting, and they are not looking for any change. So now that today we had this meeting at 1500, I'm open to like a revised calendar for next meeting onward. But again, there is a tie, 14 or 1430. What would be the preferred from whoever are present today?
Earlier is always better for me because I'm in the east.
And later is always better for me because I have a terrible sleep schedule. So.
Oh, and you're in the west, right?
Yes.
Like, I have a terrible sleep schedule, but that makes it earlier better for me because of that.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be okay with like 1 a.m. Eastern if that's easier for you, but I'm pretty sure that would be terrible for the other EIP editors.
What is 1 a.m. Eastern? I think that's like around noon for me. I'd be okay with that.
It's 5 a.m. UTC. But yeah. Anyways, I think 1400 UTC.
5 a.m.
5 a.m. UTC.
Sold.
Oh, you're saying like 5 a.m. Eastern time.
No, 5 a.m. UTC. 5 a.m. UTC works for us. We have quorum. Done. Gamble down.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm also okay not really moving it. I can usually make the current time, so whatever works for everybody else.
I think 1400 is generally preferred because we have core dev meeting at 1400, we have CL meeting at 1400, and if we keep this meeting even at 1400, it will be like easier for people to remember. We did keep it for 1500 because it was earlier required now, but now there is an opportunity with new people in here. I think let's give it a try for 1400. And see how it works. So far, this looks like this has been preferred by most of the editors. I hope you will still be there, Sam.
Yeah, should be.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So the next meeting will be on April 6th at 1400 UTC. The last item here for today is review action items from previous meetings. Let me quickly open it. EIP editors will complete survey to finalize time and date for future meeting. We just decided on 1400 UTC. That seems like most of the EIP editors want to have. Discuss potential alternate names for future EIPIP meeting. It is going to be EIPIP meetings. Pooja will add a list of exceptional cases that may allow editors non-normative changes to final EIP to HackMD files as reference to EIP, as reference for EIP editors. I keep updating the EIP editors apprentice file that is there with FAQ for new people who wants to get on board with EIP editing task. I don't know, I haven't added the link here, but maybe I can share it here in the group. So if there is any suggestion from any of the editors here that can be added, I'm trying to add things here which is not for the EIP1, but still it is useful for anyone who wants to contribute as a reviewer. So yes, that is added there. And the last one is Pooja will contact FEM re-ability to edit post. I think this issue is resolved now. So we should be good with promoting FEM as the central forum for discussion to link for any discussion related to new proposal or EIP in draft. The other two items are Pooja will follow with EIP GitHub admins to update setting to allow admin to delete spam issues. That is done. And again, FEM limited editing window, that is also done. So I think we are all good with the items listed here. Anything else anyone would like to bring up for today's discussion?
I'm good.
I don't think.
Cool. So it looks like we are making progress, and in the past I have seen that people have started adding issues to EIP GitHub repositories for things that they would like EIP editors to be looking into. So slowly we are making progress and we are making good use of the EIP GitHub issues section. And we hope to see that eventually that the discussion tool link will be removed completely, maybe not now, then 5 to 6 months down the line. And yeah, we'll be having one central repository where everyone can go share feedbacks on the proposals which are upcoming or on the existing proposals. All right, I think we are good for today. Yeah, please go ahead, Micah.
I have noticed there's a few people who have been regularly commenting and participating, trying to help out a little bit in the EIPs and GitHub. Have those people been invited to this meeting so they can kind of escalate their level of participation?
Yeah, actually, I tried. I did left a comment for one of the participants, but he said that he unfortunately would not be attending the meeting. It's just that he's just trying to add suggestions for a topic to be discussed. But I'll be getting in touch with those people. Maybe if or when they are ready to be a part of it, happy to invite them.
Okay.
And there was this, again, an issue which suggests that people are looking for some ERC meetup to discuss this kind of thing, like what's going on with the ERC and help out new authors to document ERC. In response to that issue, also have left a comment that if people have questions related to even ERC, they are welcome to join the EIPIP meeting. So we can address all these issues, or they are free to comment to agenda to be added in the meeting, or just create an issue at Ethereum EIP GitHub. We can also collect information from there. We are trying to open all channels for new authors and people who wants to contribute as a reviewer. So yeah, we hope to see more participation in future. Well, thank you everyone for joining us today. The next meeting is on April 6th at 1400 UTC. Have a good one, everyone.
Yeah, thanks, Pooja.